you, whoa, Jessica, considering I'm not, you can so totally be on this call. Where are you?
Oh,
You know, yeah, are you there, Jessica?
no, this is JR, but I see her chat saying that.
Yeah. And I anyway, okay.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, I got the email. And thought
Dice que usted se
it is an
puede
important.
quedar, está bien.
Yes, Jessica, is that you?
Yes, it's me.
You can totally be on this call because Sean, Mr. Priest is going to be coming on to give a little report. So please don't hesitate to stay on the call.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. And it is 7 o'clock and we're going to, let's see, do we have all the board members coming on? Meredith, let's see.
Hey, Lisa.
Yeah.
Lisa,
Yeah.
it's Karen. Why don't you remind them to put themselves on, because it's a lot of background noise.
Yep.
That might.
I think Isha was going to sort of mute everybody. And then if you want to come in, you know, wave your hand or something like that.
Yeah, I'm going to mute everyone except for Lisa and Sean, and then wave or send me a chat message and I'll unmute you.
Okay. JR, if you could be so kind to help me sort of, do you have a list or a membership thing there?
I'm trying to pull up the one that we got, that we were looking at.
Yeah,
last
I'm
week.
using it as well.
Yep.
So, great. I'm using it as well.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, Lisa, just give me a second. I'm going to mute everyone and I'll unmute you.
Okay. Hi, Gail.
Hey.
Hi,
Hey.
Gail. Great. Where are you?
Yeah, you're on, Lisa.
Okay, super. Okay, we're going to get started. And I would so like to welcome everybody to this call, to this meeting. Whether you're a member of the PTSA or not, you are absolutely invited in. Just don't vote when we're taking a vote. And, but absolutely you can be a part of the conversation when Sean hops on. So the first thing I'm going to say is every year the PTSA elects a new body of leadership, and the organization or the group that does that is the nominating committee. And our nominating committee this year was made up of Shannon Chi, Natalie Henderson, Isha Bhatt, and Adrienne Heist, and J.R. Bay. So we are basically ratifying that body that met twice to put together, to create the slate for the new leadership. So can I have a thumbs up on your reactions from folks that are okay with that? So you just click and do a thumbs up. If you want to do that on your screen, or if you want to do it by your hand, you can do it on your screen. Oh, yay. Okay. Yay. Okay.
I don't know what I'm doing.
If you kind of move your cursor to the bottom of your screen, it'll say reactions. Do you see like invite, share, chat, record, and reactions? You don't see it?
I got it.
Okay. Just put, yeah. Martha, you can just do a thumbs up if you want to do that too. That's fine. So I've got lots of thumbs up, and I'm assuming that if people did not put their thumbs up, they're either not members or, yeah, they're not members. Okay, great. So Sean is here. So the next thing we're going to do then is we're going to present the slate for next year's leadership. When we finish presenting that slate, which JR will do, we're going to take a vote on that. We're going to do a super quick audit piece of business, and then we're going to go right into Sean's state of the school. So JR, take it away. Oh, she's muted. Okay. Oh, she's muted again.
Hi. This
Yeah,
is
we
JR.
can hear you.
Okay, great. Now I got to pull the document up.
And JR, there are a couple of questions coming in.
Okay.
So just talk about the process, like a sentence or two.
Sure. So we originally put together the nominating committee back in February. We did not have a quorum at the membership meeting, so that the nominating committee, we need to first ratify the nominating committee, which is the piece of business that that Lisa just tried to take care of with the thumbs up. We had 3 members as required by our bylaws. We had 3 members on our nominating committee. Shannon, Natalie, and Isha were our members on the nominating committee. Adrian Heist was an alternate member. And as per our bylaws, they reported to me as the parliamentarian. We met twice and we worked with the current executive board to consider all eligible candidates for next year's term of office. We have several elected positions that we need to elect tonight. We have a couple non-elected positions that do serve on the executive board that we will, that we suggest that the new president appoint. And then there's several non-executive board positions, committee positions that are not, don't need the full membership voting on. So we're not covering those at the meeting tonight. So we met twice. Both of those meetings were virtual because of the timing of things. And we all just made phone calls to people that we knew who were interested in being involved. We've got several members who are staying on the executive board. So we've got some carryover, which is always great, and several new members on the executive board. So looking forward to a good combination of people. Are there other questions? I can't see the questions and what I have to read from at the same time. So if there's other questions, maybe Isha, you can read.
Yeah,
them.
JR, I'll let you know if there are any other questions.
Or JR, can I chime in? It's Meredith.
Oh, yes, please.
Hey, since you didn't get the nominating committee done, let's just nominate from the floor and call it a day. What do you think?
We ratified just now. We ratified the committee, so the committee's done.
Technically,
So
okay.
then JR, yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
And so JR is just going to list the slate, and then we'll just vote on the slate, and that's that.
Yep.
Great.
So for president, we have we nominate Isha Bhatt. For executive vice president, we nominate Karen Ha. For first vice president, special projects, we nominate Dee Dee Clark. For second vice president, communications and outreach, we nominate Cynthia Wiggin. For third vice president, mini grants, we nominate Adrian Heist and Shannon Shi. For recording secretary, we nominate Natalie Henderson. For treasurer, we nominate Kate Corpus. For auditor, we nominate Lisa Hain. And for historian, we nominate Martha McDaniel. We also suggest that the new president appoint as parliamentarian Joanne Jeffs, and as the standing committee chair for the grad activities, Ann Scholes.
So does anyone have any comments that they'd like to make before we vote on that slate? And the process of voting will be either a physical thumbs up, or if you can do your reactions on the screen, click thumbs up on that.
Hey, Lisa, can I just suggest something? With the reaction, what's happening is that we're seeing the thumbs up and it's going away. So we can't keep a track of how many people are voting.
Okay, so a physical thumbs up and hold it.
Or if folks are on the phone in your chat, if you can say yes.
Yeah, okay, that's right. Okay, so all those in favor of the slate as presented, keep your thumb up if you're in favor of that. If there's video, folks that have their faces obscured, if you could say yes if you're a member of the PTSA, Sean, I think you're a member of the PTSA, aren't you? Yeah.
He's a voting executive board member even.
Yeah, okay. Oh, Shannon, look, you're walking. Okay, great. Super. So is there anyone opposed to this slate? And that would be saying no or put your thumb down. And I'm looking and I'm looking and I don't see anybody. So fabulous. So thank you all very much. Really, really appreciate those of you that are stepping up and bringing in a new leadership for the PTSA. It's really great. So the last thing that we're going to do before Sean speaks is our auditor has a very important, Gail Blomstrom has a very important audit presentation to give that's super short.
Okay, it's very short. So I'm supposed to read the following. I've examined the financial records of the treasurer of Sequoia High School, PTSA, and found them to be correct. The results were presented at the March 19th Exec Board Committee, and now we are just voting to adopt them at this meeting.
Okay, so all those in favor of adopting the auditor's report as presented, is that correct? Is that how I say it?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. Put your thumbs up, please. Yeah, okay, yay, yay, okay, great. And is anybody opposed to that? Say no or put your thumbs down and say no. Okay, it is unanimous. Excellent. So thanks to everybody. And I hope everybody's hanging in there. And I'm so glad that you are all joining us on the call. And without further ado, Principal Sean Priest. You have to unmute him.
I'm gonna unmute myself. Yeah, hey everybody. I'm gonna have to try not to be distracted. My phone is blowing up right now.
One thing before you start, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Feel free to chat questions into Isha, and she will read them out to Sean after he speaks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, I just got.
Sorry, Sean, just one last thing. Lisa, we forgot to mention, we have heard about folks Zoom bombing or walking into our meetings. It hasn't happened to us. It's happened to folks on social media and at work. So if it happens, we'll shut off the meeting and then let's dial back in 5 minutes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Everybody okay with that? Great, thank you. Thanks, Isha.
Yeah, that's actually a nice segue. There's been a lot of, I think, new discoveries about online meetings and whether it's Zoom or Google. And I think there's been a whole new way that our teachers have been looking at classroom management. And of course, a lot of it is you just read about these sort of terrible scenarios. There's a number tag, and we may want to go to a password system with these meetings, depending on how big they get, as we do this over the next 8 weeks, hopefully not longer. But I know there are some security measures you can take. And my internet is a little bit unstable today. I don't know why. I think there's a lot of, for some reason, there's a lot. But I'm the only person on Zoom right now. So hi, everybody. It's really good to be here. I hope everybody is well. We're now, I think, starting to turn the corner in this whole thing to where my guess is that if you're like me, you are maybe 1 or 2 degrees removed from someone directly affected by the virus. I have a couple of people I'm very close with who have been hospitalized. I know that's the case for a lot of other people as well, and certainly will intensify the impact of this dramatically on our families. So my best to everybody. I know that there's some silver linings here for sure. We get to spend more time at home together, and we get to find new ways to occupy our time and to connect with the people that we're closest with. But at the same time, this is a very real thing. I know one of my favorite musicians just passed away tonight. I just found out about John Prine.
Oh my God.
And so that's one of the reasons my phone just keeps going off. All my friends and family know how much I love John Prine, and so I had to put my phone away because it was just buzz, buzz, buzz. So, that's I think for me the number one like frame around all this is that we are about distance learning and where's Christ. And it's going to intensify. And so, my thing, I put this in the email that I sent out today. It's your home. Sometimes with education, and I don't know if it's unique to education, but it seems to be more of the case with education than with other fields or other aspects of our life, where there's sort of, I think, a perceived disconnect between education and
Oh, geez, Sean.
Yeah, I think we lost him.
Yeah, we lost you. Where are you? Okay, there he is. We lost you.
sorry about that.
It's okay.
So I think there's this perceived disconnect sometimes between education. I mean, it's sort of, whether it's a Pink Floyd song or, phrases like ivory towers. This is this idea, how relevant is what we do really? And this is, I think, a unique opportunity historically for education to really demonstrate the connection that we have with the humanity of everyday life. And I think we do that by remembering what really, really matters to everybody, what really, really matters to our kids, to our families, to our teachers, and being explicit about it and not just kind of paying it lip service, but really looking at the decisions that we make, really looking at the ways that we operationalize some of the policies and some of the changes that are sent our way by county authorities, boards of trustees, whatever, in a way that really makes sure that we are putting our money where our mouth is around that. So that's hopefully that came through in the email that I sent out today. I've talked a lot about our priorities with our staff, and I've tried to be explicit with those priorities as well with you and the parent community and the students that I've been in communication with as well, whether it's individuals who have reached out to me or in sort of the semi-regular, I guess, 3 or 4 times a week emails that I send out to the students at home just to make sure they know that we're checking in on them. And that's that. On that note, I'm really, really glad to be here. And I'm really, really excited to see that we've got 44 participants. I'm kind of calling those families, folks that want to make sure that you feel, or that I feel, that you're connected back. I mean, it's a two-way street when we talk about that personal connection between a school and a home. So I really, really appreciate everybody taking the time tonight, taking a break from whatever show you're currently binge watching or whatever other activities you're doing with your family to spend a little bit of time with us here tonight. Hopefully get some questions answered. If there's things that I'm missing in my communication, this is a great time to bring them up. And I think we can just sort of take it away from there.
Okay. Okay, so Isha, if you want to unmute everybody, yeah? And if we just try and ask a question, and we'll do our best to make sure people aren't stepping on people's toes. Okay, and please identify yourself when you're asking a question. Okay.
I'm gonna ask about grades.
Yeah, everyone should be unmuted now. Can you
Yeah.
talk?
Okay, who's this?
Questions? Okay, I'm seeing questions on the chat, so I'm just going to ask from the chat. have there been many COVID cases at Sequoia?
There have not been any. So there have not been any students, families that I know of who have been positive diagnosed with COVID-19 virus. We did have one staff member who we found out was positively diagnosed, and I'm try and move this over here. Hang on just a second. But it was after the contract was after we had dismissed from school. And by the way, that person is now been released from the hospital and is stabilized. So good news.
Yeah. Folks, I think the best is to mute everyone. And if you have a question, please type it on chat. It'll help us. Mm-hmm. Sean, there are two questions. One of them is, will there be regular online classes on Zoom or other services? Mm-hmm. And then the second one is, what will grading look like for the rest of the year?
Okay, so two huge questions. We are, what we've done is we've put together a schedule of blocks throughout the week where if teachers are going to go online and do a Q&A, a lesson live, that's when we want them to do it. They're available during those times also for if kids want to check in on some other non kind of video chat, if they want to email directly. We're also looking at, with that same schedule, the idea being that assignments go out at the beginning of the week and are collected at the end of the week. All of this is with the gigantic caveat that we are flexible, and we've emphasized that from the beginning. We're setting these kinds of like sort of discipline goalposts or due dates, deadlines, as really a way to help kids manage their time. If that's in fact a privilege that they have. If not, if a kid is like, I really want to get this thing done, but there ain't no way it's going to happen by Friday, I need an extra couple days or whatever, then we're pushing to be as flexible as we can, given the individual situations that we know are out there. So we are putting some structure in place. As far as, mandating that every teacher is doing a, 1 or 2 Zoom 30-minute Zoom chats or lessons, live lessons with their students per week, somewhat simulating what a classroom might look like. There's a couple reasons why that's not feasible. The first reason is because we have a staff that, by and large, there are a lot of parents. There are a lot of our teachers are parents of young children who, like me, have had their children's school is now home, and so they don't have that kind of, it's not like they're at work from 8:30 to 3:45 on contract hours. They're juggling, just like a lot of us are, a whole bunch of different stuff, including their jobs, but also their families and maybe other things. I know I've got a parent that's got an elderly relative that is at this point kind of housebound because of, we're all housebound, but also, serious health stuff going on there. So it's just that everybody's situation is such that we couldn't really say, hey, we want everybody Zooming with their class 30 minutes a week or 60 minutes a week. And frankly, even if we could, that would be something that we would ultimately have to negotiate with the bargaining unit. So with the Teachers Association for the district, who have been amazing. Our Teachers Association has been incredible in terms of how they've responded to this and how much they've partnered with the district and with the school in getting us up and running without a whole lot of hullabaloo. I compare the situation at Sequoia with the situation my kids are in at San Francisco Unified, where they're not even starting. There's nothing starting until next Monday. So we've just been sort of treading water for a month with our kids here. Meanwhile, I know a number of teachers have been on Zoom for now 3 weeks, or have been on Google Hangouts, or have been putting up assignments since day one. So we don't really have the ability to say mandate that every teacher is going to be on Zoom for this long. What our teachers have is an incredible dedication to the students, and I think in terms of balancing what their responsibilities and what their obligations are at home with what they want to provide for their students. I've seen by and large just a lot of people going above and beyond. So we won't have every teacher expected to be 30 minutes of lessons on Zoom every week. What we will have is teachers designing authentic assessments, looking for ways to capture this moment, looking for ways to put quality over quantity in terms of the amount of work that they're asking their students to complete, really thinking about what the key standards and what the key skills that the students need to master this year in order to set them up for success next year. And a lot of that comes from having really close collaboration, a culture of what we call vertical alignment among our departments. So in other words, the English 1 and English 2 teachers have a really strong understanding of what they do in each other's classes. And so when we start talking about, oh, gee, fourth quarter was going to cover these 5 topics, and we were really going to emphasize these skills because those are the things that we feel like the students need, or that we know the students need when they get to 10th grade. Now the conversation is, hey, we've only got time, and given this situation, the ability to cover these 3 skills, which 3 skills should we cover? The English 2 team can come in and say, okay, great, you guys do these 3 things, and we'll pick up the slack next year with the 2 things that got dropped off. And that's the same in all of our core departments, whether we're talking about English, social studies, math, or science. Certainly there's a lot of vertical alignment in things like world language as well. And then other classes where in a lot of cases, the series of classes is maybe the same teacher, like in electives and things like that. So there's a lot of that going on. And we're pretty explicit, like we're not going to cover everything that we were expecting to cover in fourth quarter. That would be unrealistic for me to make that promise, and for any teacher to do so would be unwise. There have been, every class is different. So I think teachers have been really trying to get the pulse of their students and finding out, hey, how much can you handle? What's your situation at home like? Who's going to need a little bit of extra this or a little bit extra that, in terms of helping to decide what kinds of things can be covered, what kinds of things we can do. And then, I think the big thing also is just being able to say that we're not maybe going to cover as much of the material as we were going to cover, but we sure as heck are going to do everything we can to make sure our kids are still connected with their education, and that this doesn't become a sort of time in their lives where they sort of just lose connection with school, lose connection with learning. If anything, I keep going back to our mission statement, where we talk about lifelong learners and we talk about self-direction. And I see this in some ways as a real opportunity to develop some of those traits in our students and say, hey, you've got a lot more autonomy than you ever had right now. Maybe even more time in some cases, students who don't have extra responsibilities as a result of the shelter-in-place orders from the county. So we want to make sure that we're developing those kinds of things and sort of using this as an opportunity to do that. And so that's been a lot of the conversations that we've been facilitating among department chairs, and that department chairs have been facilitating in their schools as well. So hope that answers your question. Again, we're looking at ways to find more structure for sure. Expect that rolled out by the end of this week, and then onward for the next 8 weeks. More structure for classes, more I think of a sense among our teachers of kind of what we're doing, how long this is going to last. In some ways, it's always good, even if it's not good news, it's good to have the news that we're not going back to school, because that allows you to plan accordingly. And that's what we're looking at moving forward. But the idea that we're going to have every teacher is going to be on Zoom twice a week doing live instruction, that's not going to happen.
And Sean, great.
And then the second question was about grading.
And I'll just tell you another question in relation to that. Will the distance learning impact the kids' placement in classes for next year? Maybe you address that with the grades.
Right. So, and that again goes back to that question about vertical alignment. Let me just talk a little bit about the grades themselves. So currently, there are, as I think a lot of you guys know, a number of districts around the country. I mean, in some cases, entire states have adopted a credit or no credit grading scale for this year. I think there was a lot for the remainder of this year. There was a lot of, I think, waiting to see what colleges were going to say. By and large, major university systems, certainly the UCs and the CSUs, have gotten out front. A number of private schools as well have said they're going to look at what we call the school profile. And if the school profile indicates that in semester 2 of the 1920 school year, that the school or the district adopted a credit, no credit grading scale, then that's how they would assess those grades and not look at them. Normally, if a kid says, I want to just take this class for credit, no credit, that's not going to be like a high mark on a transcript. When there's no choice but to have credit, no credit, then it is the college can't penalize anybody for that. They're looking at that. And I think they're looking at it within the context of this sort of global pandemic and the ramifications of that in terms of disrupting kids' lives and trying to make decisions that are equitable. What I will say is that there is no easy answer for this. I've heard some very heartfelt arguments for students who have steadily improved their academic standing by working really, really hard. Let's say over the last year, let's say over the last few months. This happens a lot with 11th graders, is where you sort of are putzing around for 9th grade, putzing around for 10th grade, and all of a sudden you realize something happens when you turn 16 maybe. Oh my gosh, I can do well in school if I try. And number 2, it's a really good idea for me to do well in school because it gives me a whole lot of options after I graduate. And so we always have a number of students who you look at their first couple of years and it's a very uninspiring, series of grades, a lot of C's and whatnot. And then all of a sudden junior year, it's like, oh, this kid could have been getting straight A's the whole time if they had applied themselves. They're working extra hard. They're doing what they need to do. And I talk to a kid like that who is discouraged because they see, hey, I've been working really hard all year. I pulled a 3.6 first semester. I was on track to pull a 3.8 second semester. These classes are hard. I've been going in, getting help. I've been doing, extra time on my own. And now I'm going to end up at the end of the year with a credit, a C, instead of an A, which I was really aiming for. That was a motivator for me. I feel for a kid like that if we, in fact, adopt a credit, no credit system. I also feel for a kid who was doing everything they could to get, good grades, who was motivated, who really did benefit from the face-to-face interaction with staff every day, who benefited because maybe home is not a place where you can get a lot of homework done. And so coming into school and having access to the media center and having access to the after school program and having access to maybe tutors in an Avid class were key to their success. And those things have now all been taken away because of a pandemic. And so my heart goes out to those students as well. There's a really no good answer for this thing. That's why it's tragic in so many ways, especially for young people, and the sacrifices that young people are making is the great untold story of this whole thing. I mean, our school children, our students are bearing this brunt in a way that is, we talk about all these other things. There are a lot of people that are suffering, but man, it's the kids who just are really just trying to do the right thing and do their best. And it's just heartbreaking to see. So like I said, there's no good answer. what we look at, for me anyway, is what's the least worst answer. I'm compelled by credit, no credit in that regard. If the district, and again, this is a decision that's made by the trustees, and I know they're very thoughtful people as elected officials go. You can't get 5 smarter people working on a dais. They're all really, really good. They're all there for the right reasons. They all have a ton of experience. They really understand this district. So they're taking into consideration a whole panoply of factors in terms of their decision about whether or not the whole district will go credit, no credit. For me, if that is in fact the direction that we move, then the job becomes for me and our teachers. How do we recognize outstanding effort? What if we take away the A or the B or the grade? What else can we do to make sure that students who are going above and beyond during this time with everything else going on, who are continuing to embrace their education, what are we doing to recognize them, and what are we doing for them to make sure that they remain in the driver's seat to get into the best college that they can? And whether that's being extra mindful of the kinds of things that make a good letter of recommendation, whether that means some sort of formal commendation or recognition via the departments or the school administration, or a number of other ideas that we've come up with, that becomes our job.
Cool. So Shannon, a question around the clubs. There are a couple of them. One is, can we encourage clubs to meet virtually so we continue the social connection that the kids have? And then the second one is, if a senior is a president of a club, how can these clubs with funds in their account donate their funds to a worthy cause on campus?
Those are, man. Okay, give me a second. I gotta mute myself. That's a very cool question. It's one of the reasons I love this school so much. So yeah, clubs can continue to meet virtually. I think, advisors for clubs get into the advisorship racket for a number of reasons. I think in some cases, advisors are really passionate about whatever the club is, and so they take a very hands-on role. And then other advisors are basically feel bad saying no to a kid who wants to start a club, so they say, sure, I'll be your advisor. So whether or not you would get the staff advisor to actually run or facilitate that online, I don't know the answer to that question, because those are basically volunteer positions. But certainly, I mean, I think that would be such a cool idea. If a club wanted to continue to meet, that's a great way for students to stay connected. And I mean, thankfully we have the technology to be able to do stuff like that now fairly easily. I mean, even my daughter, she's 9, I stop paying attention for 45 minutes to go do something else, and I come back and she's in a Google chat with 4 of her friends. So I know that it's pretty accessible. If students wanted to set that up, I think it'd be a great way to stay connected. I would love to find out about those things happening and be able to celebrate that. And again, talk about a cool, I think, kind of flex for, a story that you wanted to tell about your experience during this time, as whether it's part of a personal statement for college or just part of a journal that you're keeping about all this, is to really capture those kinds of things. I would love to know that our clubs are meeting, when they're meeting, what they're doing, and even just to send those guys a note and give them a little pat on the back for continuing to stay active. As far as the donations go, I would have their ability to access those funds is still there. They would want to work with Mr. Uhaldi, who oversees all the student activities, and Miss Gordon, who's the treasurer, and she would be able to help make that happen. I'm not sure exactly what there are some rules within the ed code around what you can do with ASB funds, all student activity funds, but I don't think that would be problematic. I mean, if a club were to say, we've got this stuff budgeted, we were going to use it for, snacks and materials for our club for the remainder of the year. Now we're not going to. We'd like to donate it to some organization. I think we could probably do it. Miss Ignitis has got a great idea. Give it as a scholarship. They could donate it to the foundation. There's a lot of different ways it could go. There's tons of organizations, and certainly I would support that.
Regarding the clubs, I think I can take the action item to follow up with Mr. Uhalde, and we can create a framework or some guidance, because there were a couple of other questions. Does the school have a paid Zoom account if the clubs want to use it? So let's create some framework that Mr. Uhalde can share with the club presidents, and then we can continue moving the clubs online.
Yeah, I would also include Mr. Gooch in that conversation. He's the administrator that oversees student activities.
Perfect. Couple of other questions more around the academics. Will there be final exams? Can we get credit for online learning? And this is interesting. With the credit, no credit, I worry some kids might think, why should we work so hard if there's no credit?
Well, so there's credit. There won't be no credit. That's not probably that indicates to me that we might need to do a better job of explaining what the credit, no credit means. You right now you pass a class with a D. That's how you get credit. If you get a D, a C, a B, or an A, you get credit. If you get a C, the UC CSU, the University of California system and the California State University system gives you credit for that class. So let's say, for example, we're talking about Algebra 2 Trig. That's your class that you're in. You get a D. You pass the class, which means you get 5 credits that go towards your graduation, but you don't get what they call A to G credit with the UCCSUs. In the eyes of the university system in California, they don't consider that you've passed that class with a D. With a C, they do. So we emphasize that a lot to our students who are planning for 4-year college, is that they want to get C's or better. If we move to credit, no credit, and again, that's a decision that's going to be made. I wish it was made already, because it would make everything easier in terms of planning. But I know, like I said before, the Board of Trustees is very thoughtful, wants to take in a lot of different input and considerations before they make a decision like that, which is big. They spent about 3 hours last night discussing it. They are going to spend some more time next week at us in the school board meeting, and I think they will move it to an action item next week. If that happens, then the passing of a class changes. You no longer are looking at this scale of what is a A, what is a B, what is a C. It's simply a determination of whether or not the student has passed the class. Now, the decision about passing a class or giving any sort of grade, whether it's an A, B, C, D, or an F, or it's a C for credit or an NC for no credit, is solely the determination of the teacher. That's per the California Education Code. That's actually decided case law. So it's up to the teacher, so long as they're using, sort of a fair system that's connected to the standards. They're the ones that ultimately determine a student's grade. You can't say grade on height or something, but as long as it's, again, a reflection of mastery of the standards, it's the teacher that has that ability. And so if in fact that happens next week, and as a district we move to the credit, no credit option, then the teachers would be assigning credit at the end of the semester to students who passed the class, and no credit to students who didn't pass the class. And I would imagine that there would be some sort of final assessment. I don't know, when I think of a final exam, I think of a 2-hour comprehensive summative test, probably some combination of multiple choice and free response, short answer. Every final exam kind of looks different. Generally, our teachers use what they call common final exams. So in other words, if I have Miss Hain for my English teacher, or I have Miss Burt as my English teacher, I'm going to take the same final exam. It's a common final among those 2 different teachers, even though they're different teachers, different classes, they're the same class. It's both English 2 or whatever. And so they take the same final exam. I don't think we would have finals in that way. Everybody would expect it to be online between 10 a.m. and noon on, June 3rd, taking their final exam for 3rd period. What I think would happen is that teachers, and this is what a lot of the conversations we've been having over the past week or so have been about. Our teachers would be designing authentic assessments that students would complete and be able to complete in a whole bunch of different situations or circumstances that would demonstrate that they've mastered the standards for the course. So in other words, instead of sitting down with a paper and a pencil and 2 hours getting everything out that you learned over the semester, you would instead maybe have some sort of project. There would be maybe some writing. There would be some kind of a way that a student would demonstrate that they've in fact mastered the standards for the course. Those finals all exist, because every course has been taught before, so they have finals. They sometimes make changes from year to year, but for the most part, those finals are very similar from year to year. This year, I think it would be different, obviously, because if we were to go to credit, no credit, you'd have a different set of indicators that you would be assessing. And likewise, I don't think that the sort of sitting down and taking a test for 2 hours is probably as feasible, just given everybody's schedule and the need to be flexible. There'd be different kinds of assessments to determine whether or not a student had met the requirements for the course. But once you demonstrate that you've mastered those standards, then you get credit. So now you go back to the transcript, you get 5 credits on your transcript. Those go towards graduation. And according to the UCs and the CSUs, those 5 credits then, for this semester anyway, they count towards your A to G requirements. So now it's English 1. I might don't know what my grade would have been, A, B, C, D, but I got a credit. I got a C this semester. I still get that's credit. That means I passed that class under the A to G guidelines.
It's a really nice question. Does the school still have any unfulfilled needs to help computer or internet disadvantaged families?
It's a great question. And I was going back over a bunch of, I was trying to
Sean, you're kind of you're going in and out. So can you repeat what you said from the beginning? Yikes.
They're similar.
Sean, we couldn't hear you. Could you repeat from the beginning, please?
Oh, did we lose him?
Okay, he'll come back.
Okay, maybe he's connected.
I think someone had a great suggestion. If we all shut off our videos, it might give him a little more bandwidth.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my internet right now. I can't quite figure out why it's giving me this unstable thing.
It's all good.
Okay. I've been on these past few, so maybe my provider is just saying enough's enough. So the question was about do we have our needs fulfilled? And what I wanted to say is that I appreciate how many times I've gotten an inquiry like this, and there's a bunch. And really going back to March 8th, I started getting emails from people saying, I have this resource, I have this skill, I have this thought. What can I do? How can I help? What can you use? Tell me, please. I've just had so many emails like that, and so many different conversations with folks looking to be a part of solutions. We're really, really fortunate when it comes to technology. We've been building this sort of armada of Chromebook carts for the last several years, and most of it has been funded by our foundation. That's put us in a position where we've been able to meet the needs of our students. Even today, I had a student who said, you know what, he emailed me, so I said, I feel really bad about this, Mr. Priest, but I didn't think I needed a computer, but now that we've been doing this for a couple weeks, my little sisters are on the computer a lot because of their school. and we all are like struggling. Is there any way I can get, I don't need my own computer, but is there any way the school can lend me one just so that I can have my own? And we were like, of course. We got the kids set up to come in, and we've got this sort of, we're following the county social distancing guidelines. And so we had him come in and get a Chromebook checked out. We checked out 250-ish Chromebooks the Friday before we left, and we've probably checked out another 60 or so since then. We've also been able to get about 200 of what they call hot spots out to students. We'll continue to do that as needed. This basically turns it triangulates with cell phone towers and creates a Wi-Fi zone for a kid or a family, and they're sort of configured so that you can only use it for certain types of activities online, so it's secure. And we've been able to get a bunch of those out to our students. We're looking probably at a continued shutdown of the school. Right now we're open every day from 10 to 1, and one of the main things that we do is get technology into kids' hands. As we wind that down, we're probably going to be open 2 days a week from 10 to 1. It would be Mondays and Wednesdays, and then we would migrate that service over to the district tech building, so that if students were, again, thinking, I don't need a computer, we've got a computer at home, I'll be fine, and then realizing after doing this for a couple of weeks, oh no, I'm not going to be able to make this work. I got siblings, I got parents, I need my own device. I don't want kids working on their phone. I want them to have a Chromebook. And so we'll be able to direct them to the district office to get a device that they can check out, scan in using their student ID. Likewise, food. One of the big things has been food services. We provide 2 meals a day to anybody that comes in to pick it up, the students that are eligible, but really we're not turning anybody away. And we'll probably migrate that over to the central kitchen in the district office, which luckily for us is just across the street, or not even across the street, other side of the block.
Cool. I think this is the last question on the chat so far. If shelter in place is extended further, will summer school classes be held online? And maybe Sean, you can just talk about what are your thoughts of summer school or summer classes?
Yeah. So I just had a brief conversation today with our Compass program coordinator. That's one of the summer programs. We have a lot of summer programs that we run every year. And at least according to the Compass coordinator who met with the district Compass team, the plan is to move forward with Compass. We don't have, and I would assume the same is true of summer school. I mean, we've already hired a summer school principal, and she was just starting to get her ducks in a row and starting with the hiring. We will, I'm sure, we'll have a need for summer programming. What it'll look like is largely going to be determined by the developments with the virus. If the county says, okay, shelter in place orders are done as of June 10th, then we can go back to business as usual, which would include summer school. We would probably need a little bit of time just to put Humpty Dumpty back together again in terms of the building, but that would be great in terms of being able to run summer school, because I know that there would be a number of students, including 12th graders, who are going to need extra time to meet their graduation requirements. If we're still under shelter in place orders through the summer, then I would imagine that summer school would continue online. What that would look like, I don't know. We haven't made those decisions yet. We do have, summer school is mostly about credit recovery. So there's only one class that we offer for enrichment, where kids actually get credit. We have a number of enrichment programs. We have some like IB summer bridge programs for students that are rising 11th graders. We have, like I said, the Compass program. We have our Team Ascent program. There's a bunch of stuff that's happening during the summer that's just enrichment. It's just awesome kids who don't want to stop learning for 9 weeks, and we give them opportunities to keep pushing with their education. And I would hope that we find a way to present those opportunities, even if we weren't able to do so with a brick and mortar school and some kind of an online setup. But you know, my fingers are crossed that we're back to at least somewhat of a new status quo by the summer. And you know, a lot of that obviously depends on how seriously people take the orders for shelter in place. It seems like, you know, in my neighborhood anyway, there's nobody out. It's awfully quiet. There's no cars. You can't hear the cars going up and down the 101 because there's none on them. And I know when I go down to Redwood City, it's the same thing. Things seem very quiet. Everybody's wearing their masks and everybody's staying 6 feet apart.
Sean, just to follow up on what you said about summer school, there is a program for incoming 9th graders who need a little kind of some support and a little head start. Is that right? And does that fall under the umbrella of some of those programs that you're talking about?
Yeah, that's the Compass program that I started with. Sorry, I didn't really finish that thought. Yeah, that's the Compass program for rising 9th graders. Those are students who, based on their placement tests, specifically in English and math, have demonstrated that they would benefit from some remediation over the summer. And so it's about a 5-week program. A lot of it is academics, but a lot of it also is just kind of culture building and connecting kids with school, getting them a chance to know some of the adults that they might interact with when they get here and know some of their peers.
Great.
Awesome. We got one more question, very tactical question. Will kids be allowed to enter school to pick up stuff they left in their lockers? Like on Monday or tomorrow, if they want to go and pick up something from the lockers, can they do that?
They should make an appointment. If there's something that they really, really need to get, then they need to make an appointment and they need to check in. There's actually there's kind of a few like barriers that we've created for folks just coming on to campus, and we need to have a few kind of making sure they're not sick. And they can do it. I would say though that would be for something that's like an absolute necessity. We'll have at some point a problem to solve there in terms of kids who have left things on campus, teachers that have left things on campus. There's a whole bunch of kind of unpacking that we're going to have to do at some point. But for now, I would say only if it's, you know, something that's a really, really essential item do we want anybody on campus. Just we're trying to, and that's just a matter of what the county has told us that we have to do, and that's part of the reason why we're shrinking down from 5 days, 3 hours a day, 5 days a week to 3 hours a day, 2 days a week, because the county is really cracking down on what's open for business and who's out, who's available.
Okay, great. There is a note here from Hillary Paulson on behalf of this Sequoia High School Education Foundation. And there is going to be an incoming freshman welcome Zoom webinar on Thursday, April 23rd. Mm-hmm. The link is going to be going out to the middle schools. Tell your friends if they've got incoming 9th graders to reach out to the Ed Foundation, reach out to us, the PTSA. We will put them in touch with whomever to get the link so that they can be a part of that conversation. Sean, thank you very, very much for being here. Folks, we have a little bit of business. I know you're going to be all dropping off, boom, 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 off of this call. But if anyone would like to stay on and participate for a little bit or to listen in to some of the business of the PTSA, it won't be long, I promise you. You're all welcome, even if you're not members. And
Lisa, can I just say before, I'm so grateful I think about our meetings that when we're all together, and I'm looking at some of the faces. I know we've all dropped video because we wanted to get this thing going. I'm looking at the names. I looked at the face when I came on here. And I again and again, I just feel so grateful for the families in our community. This is an extraordinary school community that we have. And you, Lisa, as the PTSA president, the PTSA Executive Board, the people who you gather around you who want to work with you are awesome. And that goes so far in terms of setting that culture and setting that tone. So I'm very, very grateful to be here tonight, to be able to participate in that. But I'm also really, really grateful for you, Lisa. So thank you. Thank you all. Very
Okay,
cool.
right back at you. Okay, folks, so we are gonna zip. Oh, also before I forget, if any of you are Spanish-speaking parents and would like to participate in a more lengthy call and ask Sean in Spanish, that's happening tomorrow. You can reach out to the PTSA and we can get you the links, or you can contact Miss Macias, Elvira Macias, and she will get you the link. We will also be having another Ask Sean probably next week or so. And keep your questions coming. Send them to the PTSA at sequoiaptsa@gmail.com. Don't hesitate to send questions and we'll get them to Sean. Am I forgetting anything? Thank you all for participating, and we're going to zoom right into the business of our meeting. So Karen, oh yes, Karen Ha, who is our lovely treasurer, can you unmute and talk to us?
Okay, am I unmuted?
Yes, you are.
Okay, hello there. Okay, so there's not much that went on financially. I did write one check. So we had a meeting on March 3rd, and at that meeting, I wrote a check to the San Mateo County of Office Education, $500 for the court schools. So that does need to be ratified. We can wait until next, since, like, I don't think we want to hold it up and vote.
Okay.
They are. Meredith, you guys chime in on that one. I've asked Lisa and Natalie to keep copies of the current financials just so that we have a historic record on that.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So, I mean, literally nothing happened from the exec meeting. I didn't do anything. I didn't
So
reconcile
one of the
bank
things
account.
that came up, one of the things that Jen DeGrande brought up, she is the wonderful person who does coordinates all the teacher appreciation events. Because we won't be having the coffee that we normally have after open house, and we won't be doing an end of the year teacher luncheon, we're gonna have some money. And we're open to suggestions of how much money we have to spend and how we would like to recognize our teachers. So,
Okay, so we have $13.65 from staff appreciation left over, and then that $1,200 from chef.
Yeah.
So $25.65.
Right. So if anybody's got thoughts or ideas, I know this is sort of an awkward forum to raise those. If anybody has thoughts or ideas about that and wants to bring them up now, they can. If they want to email us with suggestions, they can. Jen, I don't know if you've got any.
One idea.
Yeah.
Well, Jen, one idea I had was just gift cards, just straight up gift
Yeah,
cards
I think
to the
amazing.
staff.
Starbucks or
Yeah.
a favorite restaurant in
Yeah,
Redwood City.
gifts.
Actually, more than Starbucks, I would
Money.
say if we buy gift cards of local restaurants, that way we are keeping the restaurants going and giving it back to the teachers.
They may not all be local though.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Karen, remember there's
Yeah.
that gift card exclusion. We can't give gifts using donor money.
I thought that was for students, not just for students.
It's all gifts. Check the toolkit.
Yeah, that has
Sorry,
come up before.
I thought that was for students. Okay.
it's all gifts.
Mhm.
Can we give them a $25 grant to Amazon? Call it a grant?
Hey, this is scale. You know that gift card exclusion doesn't go for the Ed Foundation money. So why don't we look at using that for the gift cards?
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay.
So would we pass money back, Gail?
No.
No.
Oh,
No. If Karen, if I'm understanding you correctly, the second bucket of money that you talked about, is that held at the Ed Foundation level?
Yes.
Yeah, they have that.
It hasn't
We
been
don't have
handed over
access
yet.
to it.
okay,
Yeah.
great. Sorry, I thought that it was in our coffers.
No pass back.
Excellent.
Okay.
So,
All right.
Jen, did you have any ideas?
Yeah, I was hoping that we could do something that either gets mailed to them at home, or if there's an opportunity for them to come back to school to collect things, or we could always have something waiting for them. I'm assuming they're not all going to be assembling at one time in one place. So I'd like to pair it with something maybe personal. So maybe we could get parents and or students to write notes that we then, attach to whatever the gifts are. I don't know how many people want to get involved, but I thought something that involved something personal would be nice.
So can I suggest that, Jen, if people want to participate in sort of helping with this project, that they reach out to you? Is that a good?
Yeah, perfect.
So
Yeah.
give us your email address.
Yeah, it's JLDigrande, DIGRANDE @Yahoo.
Okay, and if you need that address again, you can reach out to us at the PTSA and we will pass your information along.
Yeah, and then I was going to talk to my daughter because she's going to be the ASB president next year. So I thought she could rally with the kids in ASB in leadership as well. And maybe they could help get
put a nice something together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Is there any rule against straight up cash?
I thought there was. Because we did lotto tickets one time when we had a coffee cart on St. Patrick's Day, but they had to be donated because we couldn't.
Again, whose money is it? If it's the Ed Foundation's money versus the PTA's money?
No, PTA's.
This is PTA's money.
No, you can't do cash. Cash and gift cards are the same thing. That's semantics.
Okay, well let's
Lisa?
Yes. Who is this?
Hi, this is Kate Corpus. I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm not really keeping track of which money we can or can't give gift cards, but about how much per staff member would it end up being? I mean, is it an amount that would be worth considering the gift cards, or should we look to do something that's more of a group effort?
Yeah, so Jen, you probably know better than I, but there's about 200 staff, teachers and non-certificated employees, right, that usually are.
Yeah, it's closer to 225.
Yeah, okay. And we've got $1,200 that is kind of free and clear of restrictions from the Ed Foundation. And then we've got how much, Karen, that is restricted?
$13.65.
Yeah. So, half is restricted and half is not.
Because those combined, it's like $11 per staff member, which really isn't a ton for individual gift cards. So maybe thinking about something that could be done, and I don't know, I've never seen the staff room there, but getting them like a Nespresso coffee machine or something that they would all take benefit of versus a $10 gift card for each person. But I also
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I also love the idea of getting students and thank yous involved, because that's obviously very heartfelt and so much appreciated as well. So I love that idea.
Great. Okay, so that's food for thought, and we will, we'll be in conversation, Jen, with you and folks. Anybody who wants to be a part of this, please reach out to Jen. Okay.
Yeah, we can also, just like we would normally solicit from families to contribute to the coffee cart or the lunch, like we could put a list of items that we'd like to collect if there's anything in particular that Sean thinks that the teachers would appreciate having at home.
Okay, great. Okay. All right, so I'm
Oh,
gonna,
wait, Lisa.
oh, yeah.
I got a lot more. I'm not done.
Okay.
So, sadly, grad night is canceled. So we need to deal with this issue. We sold 148 tickets, and we need to decide, are we going to ask people if they want a refund? Are we going to refund them? Or are we just going to plain up refund them? And how do we want to refund them? So I suggest we give them a refund instead of asking, because, you know, what are we going to do? Say, oh, we can put your funds towards something else, but it's out in the ether and we have no idea what that is. So 2 options of refunding are writing checks or return via PayPal. The whole entire thing is going to cost us between $450 to $550 because we have PayPal fees that we have paid already. They take a percentage each time there's a payment. So either way, we write checks, we go through PayPal, we eat that money. I don't want to write for 148 checks, so I'd really like to do it via PayPal. This brings up an issue of online payment. You know, Gail, JR, and Meredith, you guys can help us out here. You know, do we get a special COVID pass? And we do a nice paper trail that says where all this money went, and we pay it online via PayPal. There'll be a few hiccups. There's a couple checks I will have to write, not a big deal. The other negative against writing 148 checks, 1 is time, 2 is resources. I don't think I have that many, and I have to buy more checks, so that's more expense for us. And then they all have to be deposited, and people don't deposit their checks all the time, so that's going to be an issue, and probably a year-long issue, because they'll get lost. And
Hey, Karen, can I ask a quick question? Did we collect the money through PayPal when they paid?
Did I collect it?
Yeah, is that how we collected the money?
Yes, it was 100% PayPal.
So PayPal doesn't have a refund? We have to pay to get the refunds back?
No, we do not have to pay for the refunds. What we have to pay, we've already paid our PayPal fee, but there is no fee to refund.
Okay, so
that's nice.
Yeah.
The refund is seamless. If we've gotten the money through PayPal, we just send it back to them.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So that's what I'm recommending. We're talking about $11,080. There was a big check donation, which will be a check written to them. That was not PayPal. The class of 2020 has graciously offered to take their deposit and give it to 2021. And Hornblower said that's okay. Gail talked to them today, so that's going to happen.
Wow, very nice.
Yeah, nice $1,500 deposit. We need to decide on what we're going to do by April 22nd because of our flash sale. We had 180 days of our first purchase I'm not sure. Anyway, I have until April 26th until I can do these refunds via PayPal, or I can't do them.
Yeah, we just are going to decide tonight because you got to be able to make a move. So, so I'd like somebody to make a motion that we will refund all the grad night tickets that were purchased via PayPal, refund them through PayPal. So can somebody make a motion?
So moved.
Oh, I made a motion and you moved it. And could we have a second? Does anybody
second it?
Okay, so Meredith moved it and who seconded it?
Joe Jeffs.
Joe Jeffs, okay. All right, so all those in favor, either stick your thumb up or, whatever, if you're a member. Don't vote if you're not a member, and you can still be here if you're not a member. Yay, okay. And is there anybody opposed to this? Speak. Don't be afraid to speak if you are opposed to this. Okay, so excellent. You've got
and
it.
then just a question for Gail Hoke. Did I get everything?
I think
Gail?
Yeah, hi, this is Gail. Yeah, I think Lisa Miller and I have enough where we can craft a message for the senior families, knowing that the class of 2020 has been fundraising for grad night for the 3 years. So even if we return all the ticket money, there is still funds left over that we have to work with to honor our seniors. So it's not like we're starting with nothing for the end of the year activities. And the other thing I guess to note is that Lisa Miller is Lisa, I don't know if you're on the call still, is going to be working with the administration to figure out how we can be part of the bigger plan of honoring our seniors.
Great. Excellent. Okay. Thank you, Gail. And thanks, Lisa. Okay. Does anybody have any other, or Karen, do you have any other finance issues that you want to raise?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, super. Okay, then we're going to quickly do parliamentarian report. JR, did you need to bring anything up about bylaws?
So now that that the election's over, I can turn my attention to bylaws. We do have a committee that we put together already to look at bylaws. I'll be having a virtual meeting, hosting a virtual meeting with those folks, and bringing back to the executive board some recommendations of possible changes to our bylaws. Then we have to send it to the district and to the state, and they do their thing, hopefully over the summer. And when we get those back, hopefully approved from that level, then at a membership meeting early in the school year, we'll bring it before the membership for an amendment to our bylaws. The issues that we've talked about generally are issues about quorum, and how do we deal with the fact that often we don't have a quorum at our membership meetings. And so our bylaw committee will be looking at, how far down can we bring that quorum number within the rules, and also possibly changing the number of meetings that executive board members need to go to increase participation. But those were the issues that we thought maybe with the next round of bylaws we'd address. Otherwise, it'll be pretty generic, fill in the blank, standard bylaw.
Great.
Gia, did you see Meredith's response? Use Zoom from now on for quorum.
Yeah.
Well, that's if the new bylaws might actually have
Well,
that you can.
That's what I'm hoping.
You're good.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. If and as was pointed out, virtual meetings are not automatically allowed for executive meetings, but there is no automatic the bylaws, the way they're written, even now, do allow for virtual membership meetings. So maybe that's what we end up doing is specifically writing in that we'd like to be able to do Zoom meetings in the future for our membership meetings, because it's great to have this many people participating.
Yeah.
We obviously have to come up with some better way to, and I assume by next fall we'll be much better at it, some better way of doing attendance and voting. Tonight we did the best we could, but if this is a method that we decide works for us, we'd probably just have to put some process in place to make it work on a regular basis.
Yep. Okay, great. Yeah, it's always a fine line, right, between having a virtual quorum versus an in-person exchange, and that's the struggle or the the conversation that's going to continue on going forward. So, yeah, okay. Next, we're going to move on to the committee reports, and I'm going to leave EVP stuff. And Adrian, if you have any special project stuff that you want to bring up.
No, you and Jen already covered hospitality. Thank you guys. I think you've got that going. Junior scholarships, I emailed with Angie. I haven't heard back from her. Did she reach out to you maybe specifically or directly?
Not me yet, no.
Okay, I tried her a couple of times and haven't heard back. So I know the announcements are still going out in the Sentinel, and I think the deadline is April 19th. I had suggested a class blast to the junior class. I don't have a junior. I don't think she did one, but if any of you have a junior, did you see something that for junior scholarships promoting or the junior scholarship application?
Anybody out there have juniors?
Yeah, I talked to a couple junior moms and they hadn't seen anything either.
Okay.
So I guess she hasn't done that, but I'm going to suggest it again because I think that might help get the word out. And
Sure.
They've got time, a little more time now, the kids and everything. So I think that could be kind of on the headline, as they have more time at home that,
Right.
fill out the application. And then reflections, Meredith, I see you. So jump in, Meredith, if I misrepresent or anything. I've been working with Meredith and another mom, Margaret Brockman, on reflections. Probably you guys know that 2 of our 10 entrants had gone on from district to state. So they're at the state level now. And we'll hear about that, I think, in May, whether they get awarded. They both received an award of excellence at the district level, and they're going on to state. Tonight was, of course, supposed to be the night that we honored them at the PTA meeting. I know. So we sent an email to them telling them, obviously, don't come to school. We're not going to be there. And we said we would try to do something, and we would let them know. And then, Lisa, we've chatted. We'd like to do it, you all, on May 5th. Kind of do 6:30 to 7, similar time period as to what we were going to do tonight. It would be Zoom, and it would probably just be an invitation to the participants and their families, the judges, the executive board, of course, Sean, maybe there's a few others, but, a subset sort of who we would invite, and just honor the participants or those who actually come to the meeting, come to the Zoom. And then we would, on the side, print their certificates and mail their certificates out to them at home. And we would do, there are only 10 projects, so we would do, a display of all the projects and make sure that they're all seen via Zoom for everybody who's in attendance there.
We can put them
so
on.
I don't know.
It'll be good.
Okay, yeah, if anyone has other suggestions instead or objects or anything like that. Otherwise, I think Meredith and I are just going to go ahead with that, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, there was a suggestion. Can they be mentioned on the school's Instagram?
Oh,
Yeah?
could we? I mean, first name, last initial, plus the project, Meredith?
Yeah, and a picture of the project.
Okay. Yeah, I think that'd be fine. And we'll get an article, Lisa, this is an aside, but
In the
for this-
Sentinel, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We link
yeah.
our page to a website because I think we need to upload them to that website to our PTSA website.
Yeah.
So could we link that to Instagram so it's one-stop shop, or?
We could put a post on Instagram and then put a link to the PTSA page.
Perfect. Okay.
We
Adrian?
could. Do you think as many people would go through, or I guess if you're interested enough, you would go through.
Yeah, and they
Otherwise,
might want to share it with their friends on Instagram. Their friends are there. So who manages the school's Instagram?
My daughter does, Kelly does the Instagram.
Oh, cool.
So Adrian, you can link to Kelly through me if you want.
Okay, Meredith, we'll talk with Dee Dee and figure out how to do that. And okay, because I know there are several school sites. I know one's athletics and one's ASB. And so can we just double check with you, make sure we get the right site to Instagram site?
Okay, great.
And if there's other things that you guys, that come up that we think should be linked onto Instagram, you can coordinate with me and Kelly.
Okay.
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 Great. Anything else, Adrian, on that?
No, somebody had suggested that some of that staff appreciation money might go to the lounge. I was going to say that Lisa and I were supposed to meet with Gary Gooch the day that school ended. So, or I guess the Monday after. So we didn't get a chance to meet with him, but if Jen is even still on, if you go that route, let us know and maybe we can help coordinate with Gary Gooch as to what they might want.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
All right, great. Thank you, Adrian. Isha, communications and outreach.
Yeah, so I think the Zoom meetings are working really well. Our last meeting, we had, I think, 87 folks join, which was awesome. Today we had 47. That was the highest, but more than our regular meetings. So really good, this is working. I'll send out the recording tomorrow or day after as a blast for both the meetings. That'll be awesome. And then one request, we're running low on our Sentinel communication pieces. So if you think of any ideas, thoughts, projects, anything that you're working on or the students are working on, feel free to email it to us.
Yeah, I mean, to the point that Sean made about, or the one parent who raised the question about the clubs, if the clubs are meeting and they're communicating and doing anything, yeah, please send it to us at the Sentinel and we'll put it out there because it's great. And I know that there are kids doing stuff for the community, beyond the Sequoia community. And well, they're kids and families doing stuff. So please do not be shy and hesitate.
Yeah, anything and everything will be fine.
Don't hesitate to send us stuff in, and we can wordsmith it. If you don't like to write, we can help you write, or we can write it for you. So
yeah, so Kate just responded, I loved reading about the student making masks. Would be great to highlight other kids' projects and how they're using their time.
Yes.
Yeah, this is something that we want to start as a team. So if you know of anything, send it to us and we can highlight one student or two students with every Sentinel.
Okay, and Martha says trombone choir club is meeting over Zoom. Hey, girl, if you can send us anything about what they're up to and even maybe a recording of their Zoom meeting or something like that, that would be super fun. So yeah, please don't be afraid to send something to us. Okay, and anything else? Well, as far as outreach, I mean, Isha, you're working with Elvira, Miss Macias on the Spanish language Ask Sean,
which
right?
is tomorrow.
Yeah. And so if you know anybody who would benefit from that and they don't know that it's happening, please, put them in contact with Miss Macias and she'll send them an invite. Okay, Debate Club just had a virtual tournament. Okay, come on, send it in. That's really great. Okay, thanks, Jara, and thanks, Isha. So not lastly, but Linda Burt, I know we had a little bit of a conversation about grad stuff. Is there anything else you want to raise about that? Thank you so much for kind of helping with Gail and Lisa and all the other team members to kind of make grad night happen for the seniors. Thanks for your efforts.
Or sadly, grad night not happening. So I'm very sorry about that. But we would like to possibly create a steering committee, some kind of committee, thinking about what we can do for our seniors. So if anyone is interested in helping come up with some ideas, you can let me know. Like Lisa said, Lisa Miller is going to be working with the administration. So it's just a serious bummer for our seniors. And we're talking about anything from like maybe rolling over and next summer doing an alumni class of 2020 barbecue with the funds that we have raised through PTSA, possibly including like a little gift from the PTSA in everyone's diploma. I mean, these were just Gail Hoke's wonderful ideas off the cuff, and Sean definitely wants to do something for the seniors, but he is coordinating with all the other principals and then his admin staff. So I don't have anything like solid to say, which is why I haven't really put anything in the Sentinel, because that feels like it's very solid, and this is all just, we're just figuring it out.
Okay.
Yeah, I see some people are putting up some ideas. So is there a way to capture those ideas that people are typing in?
Can we, I think there is a feature that
I have
says
the
save chat.
transcript of the chat. I can send it out.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that'd be perfect, because I'm
I'll
sitting
send it
here
out.
on my great, because I'm on my iPad, like I just see things flashing through. I'm like, oh, that sound, yeah, sure, yeah.
Great. And just a thought, and it's not going to work for every senior, but you know, in the first week or the second week of August, there's always the alumni picnic, and there could be a special, you know, extension of that alumni picnic honoring the, you know, the kids that haven't yet gone to college or that are still in town or whatever. I know that Ken and the other alumni folks would be more than happy to, you know, help make that happen. I mean, you guys would have to drive it, but he would accommodate. It happens on campus, and it's really lovely and fun and all that stuff. So,
Sure. Yeah. So that's it. We just want to capture some of these ideas, and like I said, if anyone wants to get involved, we would love that, because I mean, I signed up to help drive this whole thing, but not create a whole virtual graduation party.
Yeah.
It's not my strong point.
Yeah. Oh, there are people out there who will be a part of this. So don't be shy and reach out to Linda. And Linda, what's your email?
It's Linda M as in Marie Burt, BURT @gmail.com.
Excellent. Okay. And reach out to PTSA if you can't find Linda, or and we'll put you in touch. So, all right, great. Anything else about the grad issues? If not, oh, sorry.
Oh, no. I don't sadly have much to say, other than I feel really bad for our seniors, but they're taking it really well. I have 2 at home, and you know, they're going to be very resilient, and this will be something they'll always remember.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you, Linda. Dee Dee, I don't know if Karen is on the call. Mini grants, anything that you'd like to report?
Yeah, and Lisa, I just realized I probably should have touched base with you before tonight. I'm not sure if Karen is on or not. I don't see her name on here right now. But Karen, if you're on, if you can unmute and join us, that would be good. We have a situation where we have a lot of leftover money. I was doing a rough calculation. We started out with $18,500 to grant for the year. So far, we have granted $10,500. I talked to Linda Gordon the other day. She confirmed that about $4,000 has been used and is, you know, those grants are done. We have outstanding questions on whether $6,700 will be used or not by the end of the year. And we have some money that was left for, you know, rolling over the grants for the rest of the school year. I don't know if I have that. Oh, so about $7,000 that wasn't granted yet. So we have a possible up to $13,000 or $14,000 that may or may not be used for this year. And so I need to talk to probably you or Sean or this group and see what we might plan to do with that money. I'm remembering an idea now of sending out a communication through the Sentinel to maybe encourage people to submit grants for causes related to this situation. So I could follow up on doing that. But if anyone has any ideas for us, then that would be appreciated.
And are any, I mean, I suppose you could examine the grants aside from those that, you know, take a look at any that could be issued and used next fall, you know, not like like for supplies, or I don't know what people are putting grants in for, books or something like that. So they could go ahead and actually go ahead with redeeming the grant, but just use it next year instead of this year, kind of thing.
There are a couple that would be appropriate for that. I guess that's one of my questions that I have for Sean and Linda Gordon is, can the funds be rolled over?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we need to get maybe permission to do that. Other grants that weren't used this year are more related to like field trips that aren't going to be able to happen, and some other classes that the teachers were going to take that got postponed and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I guess this would warrant a conversation with Sean.
Okay.
If anybody's got any.
Dee Dee, I don't know if you saw the idea. We could do with more picnic tables.
Oh, well, that was the other thing I was going to mention is we did recently grant 3 new grants. One was to Dylan Shelley, that he was ordering some books, I believe, for a special ed class on European history. One was to Miss Yeager in case she wants to still purchase graduation pennants for her group of kids.
Avid kids, yeah.
Avid kids. And then the third one was to Phoebe Hennigy, who requested a grant for picnic tables.
Mm-hmm.
So we just were able to cover the cost of one picnic table because each grant is $750, and the picnic tables actually come up to about $850 each. So if other kids or staff members want to put in more requests for picnic tables, then we could consider that.
Great. So the school year is still going, right? And so
yep. We have a lot of money, and so.
Right.
And then Dee Dee, would you give us a blurb to see if folks want funds for a project they're doing to help with the community right now?
Sure. Yes, I will definitely do that for the next Sentinel.
Yeah,
excellent. Okay. Anybody else? We've got some great chat going on, so we'll make sure that is distributed so folks know, get some of these ideas.
I have something to add.
Yeah, who's speaking?
It's Pamela, sorry.
Hi, Pam.
Hi, Pam.
Hi. I was thinking, in order for people, like especially at this time, to make suggestions for grants, what we might want to do is use the Sentinel as a way to give examples of what grants were, to refresh people's memories about what this is, so parents can help their kids maybe brainstorm some ideas if they had it, something like a little summary of how these things are requested and what some examples are.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah,
we part of the current list back up and linked into a blurb.
Yeah, right. And part of what Dee Dee and Karen, well, all the mini grants coordinators do is reach out to the recipients and get from them an impact statement. So it kind of explains, what this money went to, and maybe there's a photograph or something like that. And it's an ongoing struggle to get those impact statements to come in, but they are inspirational and useful when they do come in. So maybe
I'm struggling with that at the moment because I wanted to reach out to teachers again to get their impact statements, but I know they have so many things going on. I don't know if that's going to be a priority of theirs at the moment.
It may not, but some will, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And my other dilemma is that I don't know if some of the teachers have sent in impact statements and we haven't received them because we're still having that glitch in the system where some of the applications and impact statements don't seem to be coming to us. So we had 2 impact statements that were sent, but we just happened to figure out that they never got to us.
What would you
Sure.
need to help with that? What
I don't know.
What would you need?
Dee Dee, let's get on a call tomorrow and I'll brainstorm with you what I have done and let's see if we can come to it together.
Okay,
Excellent.
that'd be great.
Super. Okay, so is Carolyn on this call still? Because she's an Ed Foundation board member. I don't know if she's here. If she does come back, oh wait, Pamela.
Yes.
Yeah, go for it.
Sorry, my computer just died and I had to find the cord. Anyway, I'm back.
Okay. Did you want to, is there anything that you'd like to report from the Ed Foundation that, I know we talked about on the 23rd, there's going to be this 8th grade welcome, virtual welcome.
Well, I know that what really stuck out in the last meeting was how when people ask, what they can do to support the school at this time, making a donation to the Ed Foundation is a good way to support Sequoia right now. I guess Sean, was getting a lot of questions about how people could help out, and, his response when they were specifically saying they'd like to, give some money towards some particular cause, regarding the school, he said the best way is to funnel that money through the Ed Foundation. So that was a big message in our last meeting. Because particularly we have a lot of families who are really, really in very difficult situation given the economics of this virus. So
right. And the Ed Foundation is working very closely with the Parent Center, and the Parent Center is super in touch with what's going on with a section of the community that is particularly hard hit. So there's a lot of discussion and support going back and forth. So that's really, really super helpful. The support that the Ed Foundation is providing that. Anything else, Pamela, you good on?
Yeah, I noticed in the Sentinel it was helpful to have those links to things, resources for, among other things, distance learning. And I noticed that Media Center link actually goes to a district website and not the Media Center's collection. It's not the right link.
Okay.
So that's easy to just, link it to Betsy's page and yeah.
Okay, thanks for that. All right, so I don't have anything to report. This is really what we plan to get done. Is there any new business, anything that anybody wants to bring up before we adjourn? Sorry, what?
Do we need to do minutes?
Oh, we do, but I'm not sure how we can do it. We can do the minutes for this meeting and next meeting at our next meeting.
Okay, great.
Yeah. I mean, this meeting and last meeting and our next meeting.
Yeah, because they weren't published ahead of time, that's probably the better way to do it, and we'll just.
Okay, so we can do both. Yeah. All right. Okay, well, everybody, thank you so much for participating. It's great to have you and to see your names and your faces. And those of you who are going to step up next year, thank you so much. And be careful, be safe, take care of yourselves and your families and give them big hugs. And we will get through this. Okay, si se puede. Okay. Bye. Bye. Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Karen, are you still there?
Yes.
Oh. Hey, I just saw your message.
Didi, do you still want to be on? So I'll leave the meeting on.
Actually, could Karen and I stay on just for a second?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make you the host.
Okay.
So if I drop off, you can still be on.
Okay, that's great.
I think you're the host. Thank you. Text me if you still drop. I mean, it doesn't work.
Okay.